Hi, and welcome back. This is Rob Thomas, your Everything Microsoft Enterprise Cloud Architect. And today I want to say Azure is open. Now, I know I've covered some previous videos, like really talking about Azure, talking about its infrastructure, the philosophy around it, what is Azure. Today, without further ado, we need to get in. So I want to get into Azure. That's why I'm going to break this into two parts, a lot to cover. It's going to take me a little bit more time to cover all of the layouts, the features, kind of what goes where, what does what, and so forth. So that's exactly what I am going to do today. Now, before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, and that is the Enterprise Software Solutions. These software dudes. Now, I highly recommend this group for all your Microsoft 365, Microsoft Dynamics, Azure, which we're covering today, Copilot, Windows Server, SQL Server, and then any Cisco, Adobe products. Please reach out to this group. They are wonderful. Well, if you have any needs, they have 24/7 support. They're able to help you guide your all Microsoft licensing needs and support. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, Azure is open. So how do I get into Azure? So when you log into Azure, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have a menu. If you click over here, it'll be a menu, the search bar, these items right here, and then these services, application services piece. Right. So before, I want to give you one little helpful hint is that before you log into this portal, which you're going to go to, right? Let's jump over into our Azure infrastructure. Before you do anything, the very first thing you want to do is you're going to go to your login.microsoft.com and log into your Office 365 and get into this homepage first. You want to do that first. Once you get that done, then you want to come to this Azure portal, which is portal.azure.com. And once you get there, this will auto log you into your platform. Because if you go here first, it's going to ask for your username and password. But if you log into your Office 365 first, you'll be able to, and then go to that portal next, like I have here, portal, it'll just log you in and you should be fine. All right, and you might see a little pop-up here because for those of you that went through my videos and you were setting up and cutting off the single sign-on authenticator, a pop-up will be there with some type of notification. You just exit out of that. So this is the interface. Like when you're in Azure, right here, the Azure portal, you're going to go to the left, which is the actual menu. In this menu, you'll be able to create a resource. Go to the home page, look at the dashboard, right? So you can see your dashboard, your setup. You can create a resource from right over here, start the whole resource process, and then look at your all services right here, right? And before I get into a lot of these items, you have other things, your favorites. So you can see like resource groups, like all services, again, functions, SQL Server. So then you can see these are in my star favorites, and they're all coming up here. So function, SQL, SQL database, virtual machines, load balancer, storage account, Kubernetes services, app services. So you see we were in app services previously. We're able to kind of log in and kind of play around, app registration, and then subscriptions. So you're able to just go to the menu, and then in your favorites, it'll show you, right? And if I go to all services here, you can see like how do I set up my favorites? You can see like all these items are right here in my favorites. So I can come in here and just kind of like deselect that and then go back. Oh, that I recently saw that. I can just kind of added that back in. And then if I go back here, you're going to see it show up in your favorites. Now, the next thing you're going to notice, and I'm going to come back a little bit and talk a little bit more about all services. So let me go back to home. The big thing is this search bar. You can find yourself using the search bar a lot. I've seen this in times past because I'm trying to get to some of the service stuff. And I want to save a click. Most of us we don't save a click and go over here. Sometimes you click here and it's not in your favorites, so you're not going to see it in that menu. So you just find yourself coming back in here and you'll say, oh, I need to get subscriptions. And I'm going to put subscriptions. I put in sub and boom, subscription's going to come up. Right. And you can see here where I just put an app registration up and grab my app registration and everything was good. Right. So this is a really good, searching for resources and services or even documentation. I could just put in some names, like search some documentation's name. This is new. This Copilot feature is you're able to kind of pull up Copilot and kind of do some stuff here. So if I click Copilot, you'll see Copilot kind of pop up. It's going to tell me to kind of enable it. You know what? I should. Let's do that. I'm going to go try Copilot. And then boom, now Copilot is accessible inside of my actual Azure infrastructure. I'll cover that in a sec. And now right here is PowerShell. So this is a Cloud Shell. And it's the concept, Cloud Shell is the concept of PowerShell. So if you're writing code, lines of code, you're going to be using like shell scripts. So you can see here, I can go here, PowerShell, Bash, whatever, I'm exit out of that. But I'm going to click there to be able to get in there and behind the scenes write some code. And then this is some notifications, set up my notifications, more of it, all about event activity and those items. And then exit out of this. And then this is my portal's settings, my settings tab. And this is just setting up the portal. So the look and feel of, languages and appearance, startup view. I can kind of move some things around, language and regions and so forth. And I'll cover these last two. And then this one is going to be support and troubleshooting. So now I can go to the community, I can search, find some documentation and look for some items. And last, if I want to submit feedback back to Microsoft, I can go in here and say, you guys are awesome. Type something in there and smiley face, sad face, and send it back and submit it. Is that okay? Right. So I explained this, I explained that, I explained this. All right. So that's part one. I want to cover that. Next part, I'm going to come back to a little bit, talk about the same thing, the middle and this piece here, and a little bit about subscriptions. So sit tight. Thank you so much for coming with me on the beginning of this journey. Sit tight, go to part two, where I'm going to cover the other pieces and then just really close out all the nuances of the actual plane and so forth. So thanks so much for being on this video, and see you in the next one.